government implements enhancements to grants support for states. More than 2,000 private facilities registered as vaccination centres, 299 ready for operation. Hello and good afternoon. I'm Mohanapriya. Welcome to Updates at Noon. The government will conduct a special repatriation mission to bring home Malaysians from the northern and western region of India as the country set another new record in daily new COVID-19 cases and fatalities yesterday. Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein said the mission will be conducted with the cooperation of the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA and Health Ministry using a specially chartered aircraft from Malaysia. In a statement released, Datuk Sri Hishamuddin said the aircraft will depart New Delhi and Mumbai, India, as soon as all related arrangements, including the approval from the Indian government for the special flight. He said the decision to bring them back was made jointly by all the agencies involved, taking into account the observations and the analysis by the Malaysian missions in India. Those who will be returning include home-based staff from the various Malaysian agencies and their dependents, and all will have to undergo COVID-19 tests before leaving India and also upon arrival in Malaysia. Apart from that, they are also required to undergo a 14-day quarantine at the centres appointed by the government. Datuk Sri Hishamuddin said Malaysians in the northern and western region of India keen on joining the repatriation flight should register with the Malaysian High Commission in New Delhi and the Malaysian Consulate General in Mumbai through email, the latest by 5 p.m. Indian time today. He also reminded all Malaysians in both Indian regions to keep in contact with the High Commission and the Consulate General for the latest information relating to the mission or for consular assistance. The Foreign Minister also pointed out the southern and eastern region of the country is not included in the repatriation mission as the situation there is still under control. The federal government has agreed to implement 4 enhancements to allocations channeled in various forms of grants and support to the state governments for 2021. The Ministry of Finance, MOF, in a statement said these included increasing the allocation of 50 million ringgit to 400 million ringgit under the grant based on level of economic development, infrastructure and welfare to all state governments. MOF said the increase in the allocation for the purpose of financing ecological fiscal transfer activities as an additional incentive to the state governments to ensure the sustainability of the country's biodiversity. Besides, the federal government also agreed to approve a contribution amounting to 440 million ringgit to the State Reserve Fund to assist the state governments which are experiencing a deficit to manage their financial affairs and implement respective development projects. The MOF said the government was aware of the situation faced by most state governments, which were facing tough times, especially in their financial management post-COVID-19. As for the third enhancement, the National Finance Council agreed to improve the guideline for the federal government's Malaysian Road Records Information System, including expanding the definition of state road maintenance. The ministry said the federal government was also aware that the state governments were also experiencing a very drastic reduction in revenue post-COVID-19. Hence, the fourth enhancement entailed providing an allocation of 260 million ringgit to the state governments to help them implement small-scale projects at the grassroots level. A total of 2,448 out of 8,000 private hospitals and clinics in the country have registered as vaccination centres under the National COVID-19 Immunisation Programme. Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Adam Baba said of the total, only 1,934 clinics have signed the letter of agreement, while 299 others were ready to operate as vaccination centres. Elaborating further on the matter, Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said as of 3 days ago, 37 private clinics are prepared for the vaccination process and their involvement will be managed by the Health Ministry, including on training and handling of the vaccine. He also said that they also comply with the standard operating procedures set by the government to provide free vaccination to the public. With the involvement of private facilities, the ongoing vaccination program will be able to reach all communities across the country more comprehensively. The Health Minister added that during the third phase, more private clinics are needed as vaccination centres and those applying must have freezers to store the vaccine, in addition to training their personnel to comply with the SOP. On another note, Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said that a survey conducted by the Ministry on 15,000 respondents last April revealed that 88% of Malaysians agreed and are ready to be vaccinated. Another 10% did not agree, and the rest were uncertain due to safety concerns and wanted to see the impact of the vaccine on others first. Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said this would have a slight effect on the vaccination program, which is currently in the second phase. When asked about senior citizens who did not show up for their vaccination appointments, he said the COVID-19 immunization task force agreed to mobilize their machinery to pick up the vaccine recipients at their registered addresses. 16 localities in Sungai Ruan as well as 7 localities in Sempalit Rau, Pahang will be placed under the Enhanced Movement Control Order from 8th to 21st May. Senior Minister for Security, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the 16 localities in Sungai Ruan are Taman Dahlia, Taman KSM Sungai Ruan, Taman Bunga Raya, Taman Sungai Ruan, Taman Cempaka, Taman Bunga Matahari, Taman Koperasi Mewah and Taman Melewar. Others are Taman Mawar Impian, Taman Bunga Tanjung, Taman Bunga Angsana, Taman Melo, Taman Orchid, Rumah Murah Sungai Ruan and Kampung Baru Sungai Ruan. The 7 localities in Sempalit are Kampung Baru Sempalit, Taman Sempalit Indah, Taman Sempalit Baru, Taman Sempalit Aman, Taman Sempalit Jaya, Taman Emas and Taman Emas Baru. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri, through a statement, said the enforcement of the EMCO is to allow Health Ministry to conduct screenings and contact tracing to prevent further infection. The EMCO will also involve Sekolah Sukan Tunku Mahkota Ismail, Bandar Penawa in Kota Tinggi, Johor from 8th to 21st May following a sharp increase in COVID-19 cases within a week with high infectivity rate. The Senior Minister said so far the MOH has conducted 212 screenings with 96 tested positive. Institutions of higher learning, IPTs, will issue letters of consent for inter-district and interstate travel to students, parents or guardians to enable students to return to their hometowns for the Hari Raya Aidil Fitri celebration. Ministry of Higher Education Department, Holistic Student Division Director Dr. Mohammad Suzirin Mat Jamil said students, parents or guardians needed only to show the letter to the security personnel at a roadblock. Commenting further on the matter, Dr. Mohammad Suziran said the letter of permission is adequate and students, parents or guardians need not have to throng police stations to get the letter to return to their villages and then back to campus. He also said students are not allowed to use public transportation to travel home and are only allowed to do so using their own vehicles, their parents' vehicle, transportation arranged by IPT or by flight. Earlier, the Ministry of Higher Education, KBT, announced that over 100,000 IPT students who are now at their campuses will be allowed to go home for Hari Raya Aidil Fitri except for Sarawak. The movement of students is fixed from 7th to 12th May to travel from campuses to their respective homes, while the return journey to campuses is from 15th to 20th May. Only students in the Movement Control Order, Conditional Movement Control Order, Recovery Movement Control Order areas were allowed to go home. Students in the Enhanced Movement Control Order or EMCO areas must remain in their respective areas. Meanwhile, Dr. Mohammad Suziran said students who were undergoing industrial training are also allowed to return following the same SOP as they are categorized as students continuing their studies at campus. The Royal Malaysia Police PDRM has shortlisted candidates to fill the vacancy for the post of Deputy Inspector General of Police. Inspector General of Police Dato' Sri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani said that the police had submitted the list of names to the Police Force Commission (SPP) for consideration.
Telah ada beberapa nama telah dikenal pasti. Jadi kita akan bawa dalam Pre-Council SPP dulu, Pre-Council SPP yang dianggoti oleh Menteri, PSU dan juga Ketua Penyelenggara. Ini dia 3 orang ni, ini Pre-Council ni. Kita akan apa lagi tu? Senarai pendek, shortlist dan setelah itu kita akan kemukakan senarai nama ini dalam mesyuarat Suruhanjaya Pasukan Polis untuk dibincangkan siapakah yang akan dilantik kelak.
Dato' Sri Akril Sani said that the appointment of the Deputy IGP is expected to be announced after the Aidilfitri celebrations. The post of Deputy IGP, previously held by Dato' Sri Akril Sani, is currently vacant following his appointment as the new IGP to replace Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur, whose service contract ended on 3rd May. Previously, among the names mentioned to fill the vacancy based on seniority are directors of 3 Bukit Aman departments, Director of the Integrity and Standards Compliance Department, Dato' Zamri Yahya, Director of the Management Department, Dato' Ramli Din, and Director of the Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department, Dato' Razaruddin Hussein. Coming up in sports, the Red Devils reach Europa League final despite AS Roma defeat. Football Association of Malaysia FAM President Dato' Hamidin Muhammad Amin has appointed 9 individuals from various backgrounds to become members of the Presidential Task Force or PTF. In a statement released by the National Governing Body, the appointment was mentioned by Dato' Hamidin at the 57th FAM Congress and approved at the first meeting of the FAM Executive Committee last March. According to the statement, PTF is aimed at giving individuals not from state football associations the chance to contribute ideas and help the President plan the direction of FAM. Those selected comprise corporate leaders, government-linked companies, law practitioners, academics, football supporters, the media and a member of a royal family. The 9 members of the PTF are Berjaya Corporation Chief Executive Officer Abdul Jalil Abdul Rashid, Tengku Indra Bijaya Diraja Selangor Tengku Salihuddin Shah Al-Haj Tengku Sulaiman Shah Al-Haj, former Sports Commissioner Dr. Wirdati Muhammad Radzi, Dato' Rozain Idris, Khairul Kamaruddin, Dr. Muhammad Bahrin Othman, Muhammad Tarmizi Abdul Aziz, Professor Dr. P. Sivamurugan, and Ui Kin Fai. Meanwhile, FAM said the setting up of the PTF symbolized their readiness to take into account the opinions of fans, supporters, and society towards further developing football. The statement added that the membership of the PTF can be increased or reduced at any time, depending on suitability and at the discretion of the President. And with that, we end today's updates at noon. In our top story today, government implements enhancements to grants support for states. Tune in to News at 10 coming up at 10 p.m. on My Freeview's saluran Berita RTM channel 123. You can also stream the channel via YouTube or RTM's Click web portal and mobile app. I'm Mohana Priya. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your company.